to another video. This is your girl Sona, and you know, as always, I'm taking you on a trip to another great house. I'm quite sure this tour will be quite interesting. I know I have been missing in action for quite some time, but guys, I know you will definitely enjoy this video. I just want to say thank you guys for always supporting my channel, and continue to like, share and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stay tuned for an interesting video coming up ahead. Of the Greenwood Greathouse. It's a narrow driveway. It's very cool up here. So guys, finally we are at the great house. So as it says, I should pull this string to ring the bell. So that's what I'm going to do. And that is it. Somebody come and greet me. As you can see, that lady down there walking up to the gate as I pull the string and ring the bell. We have a lot of plans.
Yeah, welcome to the great house.
Thank you, my lady.
My name is Patricia and I'll be your tour guide.
Okay, Miss Patricia.
Oh, so that gate down there, we don't use it? No. Okay, I can't notice this time the car park, that's why I went that way. Okay. No shortcut.
So guys, we're finally on the lawns of the Greenwood Great House. That's a huge house though. And I can imagine back in the days it was extremely or very huge in appearance based on the small houses that they had back then. So we are going up the steps and our tour guide is gonna take us on this tour.
This house was built by the Barretts. You may have heard of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the famous poetess of Wimpole Street, London. The family came to Jamaica in the 1660s with the British invading forces. And after amassing a lot of wealth, they constructed this house mainly for entertainment. They resided at Barrett Hall, which is now a derelict house about a mile in the hills. Also at Cinnamon Hill Great House, 4.5 miles in that direction. Elizabeth's father was born in Jamaica. When he became wealthy, he went to England. She never came to Jamaica. Her brothers, however, were sent here to manage the sugar estate, and they are buried here. The Barretts were the largest plantation owners. They owned from Little River to Falmouth. That is about 12 miles along the coast, and this was one of many of their estates. They owned over 2,000 slaves and 84,000 acres of land. Here we have an hand pump fire card. Two men would have operated it, one on either side. They would get their source of water from a lake or a pond. It would have been sucked in down the bottom, pumped out at the top. Over here is a water cannon. Even the hoses and buckets you see around are made from leather. just before the slaves got their freedom, the enslaved got their freedom, they started a spate of burning, so naturally these were their form of insurance against fire. On entering, I must ask you not to touch no wonder, but feel free to take photographs.
Okay, thank you.
The lights will be on. Even in the basement, there are gun slots still intact. The rest of the house was built on, it started in 1780, completed by 1800. There we have a bust of John Bright. On my left, one of Gladstone. He was 4 times Prime Minister of England. They are British parliamentarian from 19th century. Here we have the Right Honourable Richard Barrett, Elizabeth Barrett Browning's cousin. There he is in his speaker's robe. He was a speaker in the House of Assembly, a custos of the parish of St. James, a judge in the Supreme Court, among other things. The blue streets you see dotted around are from the Louis Philippe period. Louis Philippe period. This is a table, polyphone, like a record player. Louder. We found this letter amongst the library, dated 1836, addressed to Richard, signed by Philip Morris. In those days, the emphasis was on good handwriting. This book was signed by Richard Barrett in 1816, published in 1795. On the top left-hand corner, you can see the Barrett crest, the griffin. Later on, the Moultons and Barretts got married and became Moulton Barrett, a double-barrel name. The crest was changed to a griffin and a shield. Over there, we have the Barrett's original library. It is the largest plantation library in the island, still intact. There are over 300 books in the collection. The average age of the books is over 200 years. Most of them are signed by members of the Barrett family. The oldest book in the collection was published in 1697. There are 3 first editions among them, included a Dickens, Dombey and Son. There it is on display on the top shelf, the ones that open.
Okay.
Over there is a beautiful Jamaican mahogany sideboard. The heavily carved chairs at either end of the dining table are Flemish. They're solid oak, circa 1780. The chandeliers are Spanish, converted to take electricity. This leads us to the Barrett's original study. This is quite a beautiful oak desk. It was made in 1680. It has a number of secret compartments to it. Letters that have been kept here are documents, and here. An old map of Africa dated from 1626. The Ethiopian Ocean now is called the Atlantic Ocean. Covered so that the sunlight doesn't burn it out. And this is a solid mahogany roll-top desk. It came from Cambridge Greathouse. That's another of the great houses the Barretts once owned. Above is an engraving of a scene from a barber shop. It's quite hilarious and observed for some time. In those days, a dentist as well as a surgeon would have operated from a barber shop.
Wow.
Yes, so you have the red, the white, and the blue at the barber shop. And here we have a barber's chair. When this piece was restored, hair was found clogged around this mechanism. And this is quite an interesting piece. It's a desk resting on an ordinary table. It is over 200 years old. It has quite a few secret compartments to it. Even behind this door, there's another compartment.
Wow. Creative.
This is repeated over here.
Yes.
Writing equipment that have been kept here, books here. And this is quite an interesting piece. It's a set of library steps get to the upper shelves. It converts into a chair. This piece is Spanish in origin. The English ones are more ornate. This piece came off a Spanish sailing ship. And there we have George Gordon Barrett, another of Elizabeth's cousins. He was noted mainly for his dueling ability. And this is his son, Edward George Barrett. He was a farmer here in Jamaica. He lived at Cambridge Greathouse. This is a bust of Queen Victoria, that's her husband Albert, the Prince Consort. They are made from ceramic. They were made in 1850. This is Victoria's coronation in 1838. That's an iron etching of Elizabeth Barrett Browning on the wall that was presented to us by Edward Moulton Barrett. On the table is a Chinese sponge bowl. It is made from bronze. And below is a beautiful Japanese platter. The harp was made by Sebastian Herod of Great Mulberry Street in 1862. He is quite a famous harp maker. And this document on my right is of historical importance to Jamaica. It is the last will and testament of the Reverend Thomas Burchell. He was a Baptist minister. In 1831, he and William Knibb were accused of inciting the slaves under Sam Sharp to rebel. It became the bloodiest rebellion in Jamaica's history. It led to the slaves getting their freedom 3 years later. Sam Sharp is now one of Jamaica's national heroes. We call this corner our Dutch corner. This painting merely highlights the legend of the ghost of Greenwood. Here she is a lady in grey. It was painted by Sir William Laurier and it in the Academy in London before it was brought here. There are supposed to be two ghosts of Greenwood, and this photograph shows the other one. It was taken around the turn of a century on the upper veranda. The elderly gentleman in the rocking chair is a former owner of Greenwood, the Honorable William Carr. Well, as the story goes, this helper you see here died 2 years before the photograph was taken, yet she came out in it. We refuse to believe this. We first assume it was a double exposed photograph, but we were reliably informed that they did not have double exposed photographs in those days, as a copper plate was used instead of a negative. This has left us in a state of confusion. We have now decided it's a bad old photograph. However, feel free to draw your own conclusions. Incidentally, he met a rather undignified death. He was run over by a penny farthing bicycle.
Oh.
Below, there's a teapoy. In the past, when tea was rare and expensive, the mistress of the house would have kept it on the lock and key. It is beautifully inlaid, very intricately so. The inlay work is known as Tonbridge ware. The floor we are standing on is made from Jamaican marble. It comes from Sir Jalent in St. Thomas. Here we have Edward Alfred Moulton Barrett, Elizabeth Barrett Browning's nephew. He was a brigadier general in the 1st West India Regiment. He has no real of titles to his name. This was painted by his mother, we understand, and is naturally flattering. These two pieces are the two oldest pieces in the house. This is an English court jester's chair. Here you can see the court jester's emblem, and above is a beautifully carved face with a gentle smile. This is a 17th century Spanish brazier. They used to keep a small fire in the copper bowl to ward off mosquitoes or to keep their hands and feet warm if necessary. Here we have Sarah Good Molten, popularly known as Pinky. Sarah Good Molten, popularly known as Pinky.
Okay.
She was born on this estate, and at the age of 12, she was taken to England, where Sir Thomas Lawrence painted the famous portrait of her. She died that same year at the age of 12. She was also Elizabeth Barrett Browning's aunt. The house she was born in is Cinnamon Hill Greathouse.
Oh.
It once belonged to Johnny Cash. Both the originals of Pinky and the Blue Boy are now in the Huntington Library in California. This was presented to us by Edward Moulton Barrett.
Oh.
And here we have quite a beautiful Victorian occasional table. And above is an engraving of a scene from Othello, the Blackamoor, a Shakespearean tragedy. Here we have a penny in the slot upright polyphone.
So that's okay?
Penny in the slot upright polyphone. It took the owners of the house 8 months to repair it, but it's worth the effort as the sound is not perfect. Here we have a large collection of this. If you can imagine the ladies in their costume, in their minuets.
That will be like the record.
Right. It's called a disc.
Wow.
I trust that's enough.
Yes, it is. I didn't expect something so old to play.
And this is a spinning wheel, a spinning yarn. On the top shelf of this cabinet, there's a fine collection of English china. They are over 200 years old, so are the glasses behind. They have not been used for so long that they have started to crystallize.
Oh, so you can't touch them.
It's too late, it's supposed to be washed. Washing regular. Bob is an engraving of a scene from Othello, the Blackamoor Shakespearean tragedy. Hamlet, Princess Linda, makes Shakespearean tragedy. Couch is early Victorian. Over there is part of the Barrett's original china. The Barretts were wealthy enough to have their china made to order for them by Wedgwood, and it is safe to assume that we have the remains of the priceless collection here at Greenwood. That's one of the Barrett's original wardrobes. There are 2 of them in the house, and they are over 200 years old, so is the bed.
The bed is over 200 years old?
There you can see the Barrett crest carved on the headboard. It's also on the china. The mahogany chest of drawers is from 1780 over here. And here we have an inlaid Regency mahogany clothes press.
Oh.
It's part of a large set which includes the bed and chairs. barrel organ, we were informed that there are only 3 of this particular make left in the world in working order. You'd have put a penny in the slot. You've got a choice of 10 tunes on the side by turning this small handle to whichever number you desire. It is now activated by hand, as obviously those pennies are not available anymore. However, see if you can recognize a tune. It is quite a familiar old English number. This piece, incidentally, is a forerunner of the player piano. It operates on the same principle.
Automatic instead of using your fingers to punch piano keys. It's basically doing the selection for you. Wow, that's awesome.
Those are 19th century boxes behind you. The couple of chaps at the side, Ian and Sayers. This is a fight over here between them. It went on for over 2.5 hours. It eventually had to be stopped by the police. In those days, they would soak their fist in brine to make them hard, and they would fight 80 or 90 rounds if necessary. Of course, boxing was illegal, and they would fight bare-fisted. Under the staircase, we have a linen press with old sheets, pillowcases, any such thing, put neatly beneath and tightened down. It still works and it's quite effective.
Wow.
A linen press. Come this way.
Okay.
Here we have an original industrial punch clock. You would have been given a number by your employer. And on going to work, you'd look for your number on the large wheel, and when you found it, you'd plug it in. It prints out on a roll inside, so your employer would know what time you started work, a time clock.
It's like a time sheet.
Time clock.
Oh my goodness.
This is a record for this instrument. There are more records in those boxes. On the side of one is written country dances, songs, and marches. It's a wind organ, and this is what it sounds like.
Wind organ.
Quite spooky, if nothing else. The unusual features of these stairs is as you ascend, the treads get narrow.
As you ascend, the treads get narrow. Let me try it. The flooring is in excellent condition, man. Wow.
Well, we call this room the pink room for obvious reasons. The beds are the Barrett's original beds. That one is known as a half tester, the canopy's half. The rug is Persian. It's a comb rug, 100% silk.
How old is it? Oh yeah.
I don't know exact age, but it's an original piece.
Oh.
The Shea Lounge is Victorian, so is a chest of drawers. That middle one with the lion's head is known as a bonnet drawer for storing hats. On the commode, there's a beautiful chamber pot. It is Royal Crown Derby. That door leads to a bathroom. The fact that it has modern facilities, we don't bother to display it. Something like a television naturally does not fit in, therefore it is hidden here. These are modern wardrobes which are still in use because the house is still occupied. This leads us into the original salon. That's the main one of it. Original salon. This is quite a beautiful table. It is made from rosewood. It's a card table. The Shea lounges are Victorian, so is a rather ornate wall mirror. And that's a Flemish serving cupboard with some more Royal Crown Derby pieces on display. The table and chairs are Regency, so are the two striped couches. And this is an engraving of a scene from Cromwell's Parliament in 1644. This is Oliver Cromwell. And below is a beautiful Sicilian platter. This is a map of Britain, 1595. Even Ireland was called Hibernia then, which is an ancient name for Ireland. Britain is on its side here. It has to be turned over to be easily recognized. This leads us into the original smoking room. Chinese embroidery done on silk. And this is a Japanese with block print done on silk. This leads us into the vestibule. That's a Victoria Shea lounge. Over there is a mid-19th century press. And these stairs over here lead up to the attic.
Oh, sharp staircase.
We call this room the gold room. Here we have a miniature chest of drawers. It is over 260 years old. The top is not original, but everything else is.
Yes.
Bob is a Chinese watercolor done.
I find that you always find Chinese or Japanese art in most of the great houses.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
This is an oak clothes press. It is over 300 years old.
300 years. Wood is excellent then. Is it what,
Oak,
Magan?
oak.
It's oak? Okay.
There's a lovely view from each of these three windows, and they are rather unusual as they are hung in chains. And there are 3 panels in each window. The trunk is Spanish. It is over 200 years old. This is a Victorian dressing table.
The trunk. These things stand the test of time.
And here we have an octagonal commode toilet.
Yes.
8 shapes, they call it octagonal. This is another of the Barrett's original wardrobes.
Look at the view from this end. Whoa.
This room, the blue room, the last of the Barrett's china is on display over there. That's a Victoria chest of drawers. The table in the corner behind over there is known as a loo table. It was a Victorian card game they used to play on it named Loo. In fact, the word frequently appears in crossword puzzles, L-O-O. On it is a table screen. It is inlaid with mother of pearls and a Chinese embroidery done on silk.
The view is amazing though.
And here we have a love seat over here. The Victorians were prudish about courting couples sitting beside each other with legs touching, hence the barrier.
One turn the other way and the other turn.
Incidentally, some love seats that continue around like this to form a third seat. Guess who used to sit in the middle?
The parent.
The chaperone. And that is quite a beautiful piece. It's a double-ended shade lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Kazakh rug. This leads us onto the upper veranda. This veranda is 71 feet long. You soon realize it when you attempt to sweep it. It's like sweeping the street.
70
1 feet.
long veranda.
The first piece of land jutting out into the sea there from us is Falmouth. It's kind of hazy today, you're not seeing it. The Sahara dust.
Yes.
Cover it. Between the Casuarina trees and the stone wall, that's the original coach path. In 1826, the Right Honorable Richard Barrett won £100 for having the best mile of macadamized road in the island. It ran from the main road to this house and was the best mile of road in Jamaica. This, of course, is the front of the house. That was the main entrance.
Yes.
It is always cool on this veranda. I've never known it to be hot. It's particularly pleasant when you're in cold weather.
Yes.
If you stand with your back against the wall and looked at the horizon from side to side, you can see the actual curve in the earth's surface on this veranda.
Yes. Like it's like a semicircle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice it is higher in the center and lower at both ends?
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for the stone wall on island, it would be 180
180 degrees. Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you look through that window, you can see the horizon going behind you.
Yes.
That's Iberia style.
Mm-hmm. You're basically looking down on everybody. Caribbean Sea.
And downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And which too long. So you have to follow it.
How long it took you to learn all of this stuff that you are giving out because they are so small.
Effective on like modern movers to work on a jigsaw principle.
So that's again?
Oh, these are quite effective on like modern louvers. They work on a jigsaw principle.
Yes.
Just
Look at how they designed this section here. You see the groove?
Mm-hmm.
jigsaw principle.
I tell you, creativity. This will be what, the first floor, I would
Yes,
suppose?
yes.
Oh, this is where we were coming from.
Right.
Mhm.
The-
I'm fascinated with this bird, this sculpture.
Partridge.
What kind of material they use?
Brass.
Brass? Oh,
This is a serving table. It is made from mahogany, and this is one piece of wood stretching the length of the top, just to give you an idea of the size street came off. We have successfully managed to trace the dump where the previous occupants of this house used to throw their garbage, and I've come up with some interesting artifacts. Here are a few examples on display. On the side of this bottle is written the West India Aerated and Mineral Waters Company Limited, Kingston, Belfast, Liverpool Mineral. This bottle is known as a torpedo bottle. It Cayman ship as ballast, filled with soda water. It would have been stored on its side so that the cork could have been kept moist, hence the round bottom. So it would store like wine. This is an onion-shaped bottle. It came from Port Royal. It is over 300 years old. This was found in a box in the basement. It's a chatelaine. The mistress of the house have hung this in a belt and worn it on her waist. On this should write notes. It is made from ivory. On this should have hung scissors.
Yes.
And this would have been a pencil,
Yes.
a thimble, pins, needle would have kept around this.
Yes.
It's quite a charming piece. It's a chatelaine.
Creativity.
This is a letter opener. It was found in a dump.
Oh, that's your opener.
These two buttons were found in a stone wall, and close observation you can see the Barrett crest, the griffin.
So they have everything customized.
Right. We found this beneath a floorboard. It's an electrical adapter made from wood. It's not that old, but we have never come across a wooden electrical adapter before. So we have decided to put it on display. Bits and pieces were found around the property. Those are a couple of original tail lamps. They were used to direct ships into the harbor. They still work and they're quite effective.
They still work? How old are
Kerosene.
those, or you don't have any idea?
I have no idea, but it's over 100 years. Tail lamp. Because the ship was out here in the harbor, so they have to direct it in.
Yes.
Over there is a fine collection of bottles on display, most of which were found around the property. And here we have a Spanish painting just below
Spanish
the cross.
painting.
The inscription reads, Jose Maria was killed here in 1816. Here you can see the mother and son visiting the father in jail.
Ah.
And this is quite a comfortable chair. It not only rocks, it goes backward and forward. It's American in origin. It's known as a platform rocker. It's a Morris chair. It was made in 1815. With the conventional rocking chair, the rug would be destroyed. The object of this is that the base does not move, so it would not have affected the rug.
Okay.
The grandfather clock is from 1820. It has a French mechanism. It still works. It also gives the date. This being the date and today, 22nd.
Still work. What's the year again?
Grandfather clock, 1820.
1820. And still work.
Above, there are a couple of Tibetan religious horns. They were used for hunting wild pigs. And that's a beautiful Tibetan lamp. That is where the cooking of the house is now done. Thank heavens it's not authentic, it's now modern. That's a dripstone for filtering water.
You use this for filtering water. So it's
Dripstone.
dripstone.
These are Spanish jars. They were left here in the 1660s. They were used for general storage purposes. Above, there are a couple of rather large oars. They were used on board lighters to take sugar to the sailing ships. On the wall, there are a couple of interesting posters.
Wanted to purchase one or two good Negro Coopers. This is like something in a newspaper.
Correct.
Run away from Orange River Plantation in the parish of St. Mary. In July 1778, a Creole Negro woman named Mary Gold. So they were looking for her How sad.
This is a meat hanging table with some more artifacts that were found around the property. Here we have a bathtub. It's made from cedar. And this is one piece of wood, just to give you an idea of the size tree came off. And this walkway is called a whistler's walk, for when the slaves taking the food from the kitchen, they would whistle. So the master would know they're not eating the food while taking it inside. This is a sundial. On the other side of a footpath, there's a rain gauge.
The sundial doesn't work anymore though.
Yes,
It still works?
you're saying it's in shadow.
Check your time. Is it 12 years half?
It's about that now.
Whoa.
In shadow. This leads us into the original kitchen. It has been converted into a bar named the Lever Crossing. Hence the train signs you see around. Just some train signs around. Watch your step. This is where they have done their cooking. The center wall has been taken out. There's a double chimney going up. And there's a brick oven over here to my left. This table is from 1714. It's a Queen Anne table with gate legs. On it, there's a spittoon, but no longer in use, please. The locks and padlocks on the window ledges were found around the property.
What's this artwork here? Like a dog or something?
It's a lioness.
Lines, no?
The eyes and the tongue not real, but everything else.
Everything else is real?
Preserved.
Preserve. Whoa. Like it's embalmed or something.
Right. The documents on the wall are the barracks indentures. They are to do with various land transactions they made, their titles and deeds. There's even a list of slaves' names over here. One of the slaves was called Trouble. I dare say that was a reflection on his personality. Below there is a man trap. It was used for capturing the runaway slaves. And these are some more interesting artifacts that were found around the property. A bayonet, a blunderbuss, a cooper's axe, machete, a couple of adzes, a branding iron, some fine mechanism for a brownbreast musket, and most interesting...
What was the branding iron used for?
This one was used for animals. Smaller
Okay.
ones for slaves. Most interesting, an ankle shackle.
That must have been uncomfortable.
Below, there's some 56 pounds weights. They were used for weighing sugarcane.
Okay.
And here we have a set of beer poles. A bell is attached to each pole so that the barman would know if someone was helping himself without his permission. You'd place a glass beneath whichever tap you care to, and the caricatures on the wall over there, the pit dances from the 1920s when Charleston, Turkey Trot, and Black Bottom were popular. Well, thank you very much. This is where the tour of the house ends.
We just basically reached where we began.
On
Thank
the
you.
table, there's a visitor's book. Feel free to sign it, make your comments.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You have
So
nice,
guys, as you can
you
see,
nice
we have a lot of
nice car here.
plants
Yes, I realize
around,
Ben, yeah.
and it is just a beautiful setting.
So hold on. Wait, do you have down here?
No, in drive go down. Yeah, in drive go down.
So we're making our exit from the Greenwood Greathouse.
Yes, if you know of any young miss would like a job.
And if there's any young miss that would like a job at Greenwood Greathouse
As a tour guide.
as a tour guide in Montego Bay, you can just apply. The phone number and 953
1077.
1077. Just give them a call.
990
Or 990
5544.
5544. That is if you need a job as a tour guide.
Right,
Please call those two numbers.
right. You'll get you.
and you'll get through. Thank you again for
Thank
watching.
you, and thanks for coming, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.